So today we are continuing the same part, virtual machine administration. So one more time today I'll show you like how we can make virtual machine. So the last time we have we couldn't complete it the installation part. So let's see. Just right click on your data center. You can make virtual machine here. New virtual machine. Next. So here you can use name. Let's say I'm creating virtual machine by the name VM1. Next. And in which esxi you want to create. So let's say I want to make on esxi1. Okay. And so the next option here we have the data store. So as I told you last time, select the storage for configuration and the disk file. So in which location you want to store the files of this virtual machine. Okay. So one of the data store we have created. This is the local data store for the esxi, and we have created two data stores. One is shared data store as well as virtual machine data store. Doesn't matter like what was the name you have to remember that. Right? So here even you need to contact to the storage admin and you have to ask about the LUN, whatever the LUNs are available. Based on the LUN, we need to make the data center. And one of the store we also have ISO images. So here we are keeping only images of operating system. So we are not keeping any files. Okay, this is not the storage where we are going to store the VM files. So for me, I have a separate data store here. I just click this. Next, and we are selecting 6.7, which we are using the version. And here you're asking like what type of operating system you want, Windows, Linux, or any other platform. So let me try to install again 2016. And one of the options here we have like enable Windows virtualization based security. So if you put a check mark, that means even you can also install the virtual machine on the top of that machine. Okay, so depends. So I don't want right now. So this is very important option. So everything is depends here. So like how much RAM you want, how much CPU you want, how much hard disk you want. Okay, so let me give you 2 GB of RAM processor. Okay, no problem. And we also discuss about hard disk, and hard disk I don't want 40. And even though I'm giving 40 GB hard disk, so here you have to go with the option like you need thin provision, thick provision, or based on the requirement. Either you can go with the thin means it will based on the once you start storing the data, it is going to store that much space. It is going to store the data on the storage. Okay. If you go with the thin provision, that means suppose I'm giving 40 GB, so the complete 40 GB will be assigned to the direct virtual machine. So virtual machine, maybe you're using or not, automatically it will give a 40 GB space to that particular virtual machine. Okay. So right now we can, okay, no problem. We can go with the thick. I don't want 40 GB. Yeah. This one, right? Yes. Yeah. So this option I explained when we talk about, fault tolerance. Okay. We have a topic fault FT. So when we have FT, in that time we can understand. This is very easy option. So lazy or eager, I'll show you. So just for today, we need to understand like what is thin and what is thick. Thin means it will not take all the space. Thick means it will take all 20 GB. Whether you are using or not, it will completely take 20 GB. But if you go with the thin, so what it will do? So it will make a drive, and once you start storing the information, so whatever you are storing, from the storage, it is taking that much space. Okay. Suppose right now I store 1 GB. So here, even though it show you 20 GB, but actually it's taking 1 GB here. So that 1 GB it will try to allocate from the storage. So thin provision. Then if I go down, the the next option, this is your hard disk, and which network. Let's say I want to make on my VM network, and I'm going to install with the help of my data store ISO. In ISO images, I already have the operating system image. So by using this image, I'm going to install the operating system. So once you select, here you have to click connect. If you don't connect, it will not able to detect. Connect this option. And here, what kind of compatibility you want for the USB. Okay, so USB 2.0, 3.0, no problem. Okay, so this is your graphic card. And if you go down, then there are many options. Even we can go with other addition hardware. Yes. See, if you select the high version, okay, so, that is a virtual machine actually. We are not connecting to direct hardware. Okay, so automatically, like if you select 3.0, automatically it will detect. See, default is 3.0. If you select suppose 2.0, so that hard disk you cannot connect to that particular virtual machine. It will not compatible. So VM option. Okay. See, one of the options here you can see VMware remote console. Okay. Let's say suppose I'm connecting this virtual machine from the remote. Okay. So here, if I put a check mark, what it will do? Lock get operating system when when the last remote user disconnects. Okay. So I'll show you what is this. Next and finish. So here you have the information like we are making a new virtual machine and it's completed. So the name of the virtual machine is VM1. Simply I right click and I'm going to forward on that. So here either we can say launch web console. So if you click web console, what it will do, directly it will open another tab. This is one way. Okay. Or else what we can do, now you can also have an option like launch a remote console. If you go with this option, it will try to ask like you want to open with the workstation or you want to download this. So what it will do, like the way we have created a lot of virtual machine here. So here, one more virtual machine automatically available here. So it is try to create VM1 here. Okay, like the way we are using our all the virtual machine. So here you can even see one more virtual machine. So you can take remote console. Yes, everything. Yes. like how you're connecting to the client. So the client interaction should be support. Okay, so that's why I'm not using the default browser. I'm using maybe Google Chrome, or maybe you can use Firefox. Okay, it's support. Okay, so the default Internet Explorer doesn't support certain features. So this is about 2016. So you can press enter, and here you can install. So right now, like the installation maybe at least take a certain time. Why? Because our actual scenario is we already using the virtual machine. In that virtual machine, I'm installing one more virtual machine. Okay, so that means automatically my processor speed will be slow. Okay, but in a real time, what is the actual scenario here? If you talk about the real, you may have direct physical server. On that physical server, you have direct ESXi. Okay, on that ESXi, we'll be installing a virtual machine. But in our case, what we are doing, so on the top of a machine, ESXi also I'm using as a virtual machine. Okay, this is my physical server. On the top of physical server, I'm using ESXi as a virtual machine right now, current situation. In that virtual machine, I'm installing one more virtual machine. So automatically you can see the performance will be reduced. Means like the way you install a virtual machine on the top of direct ESXi, and the way you install a virtual machine in terms of virtual machine, again automatically there is a performance issue. So we'll be installing standard edition, that is desktop experience, means we'll be using graphical version. Next, got it my point? Like what actually I want to explain. I can go with custom, and see here you can see 20 GB I have given, and that is enough for the installation. GB, okay, 40 minimum recommended. So when you do practical, don't give 20 GB, try to give 40 GB. It's recommended. So if you are installing, suppose a server on direct virtual machine, it will install very fast. But what we are doing, we already have virtual machine. In that virtual machine, we are installing another virtual machine. So the performance will be reduced here. So here we have to wait. So one of the question comes here like, what is a virtual machine? So whenever like we make virtual machine, so here you may have certain files, like we have .log file, nvr, .vmdk, .nv, .vmin, .vmsd. So in interview, we may have this kind of question, like what is actually, what kind of file make virtual machine? Okay. So we have a file like vmss, vmsn, vmsd, vmin. Okay. So all these are the files that actually make the virtual machine. Okay. So one of the file we have logs. Okay. So this file keep a log key, all the VMware virtual machines activity. So this file can be useful for the troubleshooting. So whenever if you want to know like what is actually happen on that particular virtual machine, we can able to see the virtual machine logs, and based on the log, we can able to do the troubleshooting. One of the file we have nvram. Okay. So this is the file store the BIOS information of your virtual machine. Okay. So whenever you go BIOS and if you want to do any changes, something, so that information is going to keep in that particular file, nvram. We have one of the main file that is vmdk. This is your hard disk file. Okay. So whenever you attach a hard disk, okay, so that hard disk automatically one file will be created, that is vmdk file. Okay. So it may be like 20 GB space, it may be 40 GB, whatever the size you give. So one file automatically creates. Okay. So how we can see that information? Okay. So you can select this particular virtual machine, and here you can go storage, and you can select your virtual machine. Let's say I'm selecting my VM1. So here you can see some files are available here. One of the file we have, like this is our log file. One of the file we have vmdk file, nvram, vmsd, vmx. This is your configuration file. Like that, we have all the files here. Okay. So this file even you can able to save and you can able to open according to your requirement, and you can able to do the troubleshooting. And one of the file you can see, this is vm1.vmdk. Okay. So even you can also see the space. Okay, how much it's taking the space. So all the files are available. So all these files make your virtual machines to run. Now, if I go to my web server, which we have created last time, so here also we have all the files. So each and every virtual machine, you may have this, all these kind of files. It may be like vmdk, vmsn. You may have a snapshot file. You may have the configuration file. You may also have the log file. You may have, the vmx file, vm. If you have, vmsd. So these are the files are available. Okay. Now our virtual machine is ready. Now I'm going to log in. So first I have to give a password. So whatever the password you want. Yeah, I'll show you like how we can add. I first will see. So that is our day-to-day task. How we can add multiple hard disks. No, that is for VMware workstation, not here. So when you make a virtual machine on workstation, in that time it will ask like you want to keep the files in one particular file, or you want to make multiple. So that means, so what will happen here? Let's say suppose I'm keeping all my files here on my E drive. I have a folder here, VMware practice, and suppose okay, on my, suppose let's say Exchange server file. So if you select multiple files, so what it will do? It is going to create up to every file it is going to create. Then it is going to create separate files. But if you say one file, that means all your virtual machine is going to keep only on a one particular file. Maybe I have that one also. No advantage. So it's not like advantage or disadvantage. That is asking like you want to keep in one particular file. You can see here. See, this is your complete one file, 8 GB, like this. The complete space take only one. Single file, you can even have multiple files. See, I never have any issue with single or multiple files. So our virtual machine is ready. Mm-hmm. No need to do that. I'll show you. Just we complete all our session, then we'll sort out like what you have. So now, like once you install the virtual machine, so as we know, like this is our 2016 server. Sometime if you're using the old version of VMware, so right now we are using like 6.7. So we may have some kind of advanced feature. As I told you, like right now I can able to see the mouse. But in the old time, like we cannot able to use mouse here. If I want to do anything, so first you have to install the VMware tool, and after the installation of VMware tool, now I can able to use the mouse here. Okay, but here some of the feature is I can use mouse. But right now, if I make a full screen, so still you can see I'm not getting a full screen on my screen. Okay, so here also we have to install the what we can say, we have to install the VMware tools. So to install a VMware tools, directly you can go to your vSphere. On the top of vSphere, you have to go to that virtual machine. So we have created virtual machine, and here automatically you see we are getting one error here. Error is nothing but some notification. Okay, so VMware tool is not installed on this virtual machine. Okay, and one of the issue I'm getting is means warning uh, virtual machine usage. So right now you can see almost it's using 2 GB. So that means when I create a virtual machine, I have given only 2 GB of RAM and almost 2 GB is using here. Okay, but because like server 2 GB means okay, but if you are based on the utilization, you have to do that. So what I can do, the first thing I can go edit setting, and here at the time of installing virtual machine, I have not given a check mark here. Which check mark? Hot plus. You see this? I created this virtual machine, but I have not given a check mark. That means if I want to add, the option is not highlighted here. Okay. So last time, if you remember, maybe I explained already. So at the running state of virtual machine, if you want to extend a memory or CPU, you have to enable this option. Okay, I have not enabled. So that means right now I cannot increase this. I have to restart or I have to shut down first, then I can able to increase that one. Okay, so okay, no problem. So now I can able to install the VMware tool. So from here only I can say, and I'll say mount. So what it will do, automatically it is going to mount here. So I just open my computer here. On the top of my computer, I can go my this PC, and here like virtual DVD-ROM, I also get a VMware tool. I have to double click and install the VMware tool. So the reason like why we are installing the tool, why? Because I want to get all the features of my virtual machine. So the interaction become very easy. Okay, but in previous version, unless until you install the VMware tool, you have to do all this process only by keyboard. I remember like doing this process, at least we need to spend a lot of time. Why? Because we are not habited with keyboard. So if you're using mouse means, okay, you can do very easy. But keyboard means all the process if you want to do by keyboard. And sometimes, this interaction may not support, sometimes we have confusion. Okay, we have to minimize this one, or you have to minimize that one, or you have to click here, or if you want to click there. So a lot of confusion. Okay. But slowly, we get this kind of, what we can say, we got the solution for this. So now I can go next. We are going using the typical only install it. So once the installation done, it is going to ask you restart. We have to restart. Okay. So instead of restart, what I can do, I can shut down, and I'm going to increase the memory of this virtual machine. So on the tool install, now you can also get full screen here. I can see automatically I got full screen. Now imagine, so even though it's like a virtual machine, but I can feel this is like a dedicated server where I can do all my tasks. Okay, so it never looked like a virtual machine. Okay, so this is the beauty of VMware. Now what I can do when I open my computer, here you can see like all the partitions are available. Okay, where you can keep all your data. All the options are available here. I can have internet. I can able to download. I can able to install. Whatever the things you want, you can install. You can download. Okay. Now even you can go to your disk management. You can see like what type of hard disks are available. Okay. So like this means the way you work on physical machine, the same you can see here. Okay. So here I'll be having like 20 GB hard disk. Okay. So cancel now. I'll go to. So before we go edit, one more time I'll go to my storage, and if I go to my data store, and if I go to my see the virtual machines I'm going to keep here on this particular data store. Now, when I go to my virtual machine, means first VM1. So here one of the file is available like vm1.vmdk. Okay, and this is your virtual machine hard disk file. Okay, so for esxi, okay, so hard disk is nothing but it's like a file, but for virtual machine is a hard disk. See, for esxi, what is this? This is actually a file, but when you go to virtual machine, so for virtual machine, this is like a hard disk. Okay, this is the difference actually. Okay, so now let's see how we can add suppose one more hard disk here. Like suppose when we create a VM, suppose I have given one hard disk here, and the size of hard disk is suppose 20 GB. Okay, now client want to install an application, and that application needs suppose like almost like 150 GB. Okay, So basically, when you open the my computer, here we have C drive. So that C drive, okay, we install only the operating system. Okay. So this is only for the operating system. Now we have to install, you know, you know, we need one more hard disk, that is for the data drive. Okay. So to add one more hard disk, how we can do that? So nothing we are doing from here. So again, I'll come to my, the same vSphere. I'll come to my virtual machine. So simply I can right click on virtual machine, and here I can go edit. And if I go down, see, I already have this hard disk, 20 GB. I go down, and here, additional hardware. Okay, here only one option is there, add a new device. And what do you want? I want to add hard disk. Now I go down. Here only the option is there. So what the size you want? Let's say I want 150 GB. So here also it will ask you like you want thick provision, you want the thin provision, and this 50 GB from which data store you want to use. Okay, you want to take from the default, means like the first hard disk which I have created. From that from that data store you want to use that. Okay, or here you can even change the data store. I don't want from the virtual machine data store. I can take the space from another disk, means another data store. Okay. So here even I can select like you want the thin provision, let's say now I'll select a thin provision. Okay. So according to the requirement, we can do that. Okay. So here you can decide like in which data store you want to add. Okay. You can click OK. So now one more time I can go and data store virtual machine VM1. So here you can see. So this is the default hard disk we have given, and here you can see the size is available. Like how much? Almost like 9.1, means almost like 10 GB is full, right? Okay, more than 10 GB is full actually. So how much is using? It will try to show you here. Okay, and one more hard disk which we have added here. You can see one more VMDK file is created. That is VM1-1. See, this is VM1 only. Where is this? Okay, this is only VM1. This is your first hard disk file. And when you add one more hard disk, and tell me like why it's showing the space 0? Yeah, yeah. We have selected thin. Thin means once you start storing, it will automatically take that much space from your hard disk. Okay. I'll go here one more time, the virtual machine. And now I can go to my disk management. How we can go? Just right click and open your disk management. And now you can see one hard disk is added. Now you can make it online. Initialize. Same thing like the way you have. Right click and you can make your value. So this is the beauty of virtualization. Okay. So within click, we can add hard disk. Okay. Now, suppose like if you want to do this process on physical environment, okay, so you have to go to the data center, you need to add one hard disk, then configure it, okay. But here like we can add in just only click, okay. So that's why like the company, they are moving to the virtualization concept, okay. So let's see one more beauty. So now I can open here. We can see one of the space available. Okay, so now what the user can do, now user can store automatically the data here. Okay. Now, one more thing here. Let's say, okay, now like we have given 150 GB space. Okay, maybe after some time, so 150 GB is get full. Okay, now client want more space. Then what we do? Okay, and I don't want another drive. I want on the same drive. Okay, the client needs the more space. Okay, so what we can do now? One more time, like we can go edit and we can able to do that. So one more time, I'll go here. Uh, Same, the virtual machine, I just go edit. So instead of 150, what I can do, let's say I'll give 200. Now open your disk management. Yes, refresh. Hmm. See, reduce means what? Yes, yes, you can. You can say there is an option shrink. You can do that shrink. And from here also you can able to decrease. Okay, just go edit. See, normally what happens, why you want to decrease? If the space is available, then only we can decrease, right? What do you mean by decrease? If there is no space, then how we can decrease? This, this is my 200 GB, and suppose complete 200 GB is I'm getting full, okay, and I want to decrease. So what is the meaning of decreasing? You can decrease, but but when you go there, so it will not show you that. Why? Because like you already have that much data, it's already using. Yes, you can. 40 GB. No, normally it will add automatically. If you refresh also, it will add. Yes. So here you can right click and you can extend the value. And how much? So I have added like more 50 GB now. So without anything effect, now you can extend. This is the beauty of virtualization. Okay. The same thing like if you want to do on physical, all the time it's not possible. So how much you have, it will show you that much. Okay. So now the size automatically increased to 200, and now my 20 GB increased to 40 GB. Okay. So this is one of the tasks of administrator, means daily, one of the daily tasks. Okay. Now, the next thing is just now, like we added new hard disk to the virtual machine. Okay. Suppose because of some reason that virtual machine is crashed. Okay. Let's imagine we added one of the hard disks here, and because of certain reason, maybe this virtual machine get crashed or something happened. Okay. So for me, what actually I want, for me, like the disk is important, means the data is important. So what we can do, okay, we can mount that particular hard disk to another VM. Okay. Now let's say what I can do. Now, whatever the hard disk available to this virtual machine, this hard disk I can able to mount to another one. Okay. For that, what we can do, just simply you can right click on this virtual machine. You can go, you know, add hard disk. No, we are not adding hard disk. Here you may have one existing option. So 7.7, sorry, 6.7 has given this option. So previously we have direct option here only. And oh, here only. See, add. Previously we have added new hard disk. So here we can say existing hard disk. See, you have to select this. Okay. So where is that? Let's say I already know about that hard disk available on the virtual machine data store. And here, so that hard disk available on the virtual machine like VM1. And on that VM1, you can see there are two hard disks available. Okay, one is VM1.vmdk and one is VM1-1.vmdk. Okay, so I can click this. I can able to attach that hard disk to this particular virtual machine. Okay, that means whatever whatever the disk available here, so that particular hard disk we can mount to another virtual machine. See, this virtual machine is not created, just dummy. That's why I'm not adding. Okay, so wherever you want, you just right click and simply what you have to do, you have to go to settings and here you have options. Just go add existing hard disk and give a location. So here it will ask you the location. So whatever the hard disk you want, you just add, go to the data store. From the data store, pick up that particular hard disk file, and you can able to do that. Okay, so this is one of the best options. Yeah. So any question? So it was like the pending part, what we have done till now. Okay. So we actually started like how to make, we created, create a virtual machine. And in that virtual machine, like we have seen like how to add, how to edit the virtual machine. Okay. See, edit is not only just adding hard disk. You can, if, suppose if you want to increase the RAM, if you want to decrease the RAM, or if you want to, you may have multiple options here. So edit is not only about the hard disk. So let's say suppose this is, now you can see it's using, suppose I have given total 2 GB and complete 2 GB is using. So what I can do, simply I can go to settings, then I can able to increase the RAM also. I can see like how much processor is using. Okay, based on the requirement. See, some machine maybe need more processor, some machine maybe need the less processor, some machine require like some very good RAM. Okay, so according to the requirement, we can able to do that. Okay, so simply you have to go the settings of the virtual machine, and what do you want, you can do that. Okay, let's say you want to add one more NIC card. Okay, so you can add it here. You just go add device. Now you can add one NIC card here, network adapter. Okay, so that NIC card, which network you want to connect. Okay, so you may already have the already you have created the port group. You can do that. Okay, that is based on the requirement. Okay, so these are all virtual. This is nothing, we don't have physical NIC card. Okay, this is completely, we are talking about the the virtual NIC card. Okay, so tomorrow we are going to see the next part, that is how we are going to cloning. the cloning of virtual machine. Then we are going to see a snapshot, how to take snapshot of a virtual machine. And one of the things we try to discuss what is template, how to make a template, and what is the use of template, what is the meaning of template, we'll try to see. And one of the part we are going to see tomorrow, that is OVA, or what is OVF, okay, and how we create and how we try to use OVA and OVF, okay. So this thing we'll see tomorrow. We try to complete this, okay. Then after that, we'll try to see, we have something called VCAP and VApp. Then we'll try to see, the vMotion concept. Then slowly we are going to finish.